どうも皆さんお久しぶりです。元気ですか? Thank you for coming back to my second lesson. Today's topic is how to sound Japanese. So me being an actor, pronunciation is a big issue, whether it's Japanese or English, because you have to be understood. And also I don't want the audience to feel strange when they hear me. So I studied it at school, and also I still practice with books and CDs. And today I wanted to do this. It's still second lesson, and it's important that you know that from here on. So whenever you speak it, you are doing the right thing. So I'm going to break down the rules, and yeah, let's start today's lesson. If you have seen any of my previous lessons, you have seen me write Japanese with alphabets. We don't usually use that in regular Japanese writing, but I use alphabets so that you know how to pronounce it. And we call it romaji, aka Roman letters. Alright. Let's get into the actual Japanese sounds. In Japanese, there are only 5 vowels. Phew, right? It's easy. There's a, I, u, e, o. Only 5. Not to make an excuse for my fellow Japanese people, but it's really hard when we speak English. When we first start, we don't even know different sound of vowels exist. So what happens is we substitute with whatever sound we know. You would be surprised. It's difficult for us to differentiate like hat and hut. Remember, we only have one sound, and there's no a or So for us, it's hatto. I'll explain later, but we don't usually use consonant by itself. So both of them we use hatto. Alright, so we have consonants, and with the combination, in a combination with vowels, we make different sounds. For example, the first consonant we have is k sound. So it is ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Right, we also have s sound with s. It's sa, shi, su, se, so. As you can see, there was one exception. It's shi sound. It is not exactly si. Then you would pronounce sa, si, su, se, so, right? It's shi. It's pretty close to shi, actually. So we use sh. So it is sa, shi, su, se, so. For now, you can use shi. It's a proper sh sound. Sa, shi, su, se, so. But Japanese sound is sa, shi, su, se, so. Somewhere in between. Okay. Alright, the next one is t sound with T. That's ta, chi, tsu, te, to. I know, some exceptions too. So the chi sound, if it's written ti, you would say t, right? So it's actually chi. So we use ch. And the tsu sound is, it's not tu, it's tsu. So there is tsu. So once again, it's ta, chi, tsu, te, to. Right. And we have n sound. It's n. It's na, ni, nu, ne, no. And next one is ha, hi, hu, he, ho. with H sound. And there's a debate, or rather exceptions. Hu sound, it's sometimes written with F, because it is sometimes pronounced more like fu rather than hu. So you might see it when it's written with F, but I would say I can still use hu sound because we don't usually bite our lips like it's somewhere between, like ha hi hu he ho, ha hi hu he ho. So in my ear it's closer to H. I just want you to know that some people write with F, so ha hi fu he ho. And moving on, next one is m sound. It's ma, mi, mu, me, mo. And there is one sound with there's, okay, next one is Y sound. It's ya, you, yo, only 3 vowels. And this one is, official rule says use R. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but as you can tell, there is no R sound in Japanese. It's very much close to L, but somehow official rule says we use R, so let's go with that. But actual pronunciation is, just listen to me, it goes la, di, ru, de, ro. La, di, ru, de, ro. I think it's pretty close to L sound, more like, because if it's R sound, your tongue is not supposed to touch the hesilinia inside the mouth, but in Japanese it does, so it's a little different from actual sound, but we use R. And we have the sound with W, which is wa, and we use the M, we use N or M to describe sound. We use the N usually for the Roman letters. So moving on, there are other consonants, and these are called voiced consonants. What happens is, for example, there's K sound with K. Now there's G sound with G. I don't know if you realize, but it's basically the same movement with the muscle, but you just put voice to it. It's K, G. And with the vowel, it goes ga, gi, gu, ge, go. Okay. So there are others. There's s, z, with z. It's za, ji, z, ze, zo. And again, earlier I mentioned that there's an exception for sa, shi, su, se, so. The same rule applies here. So we use ji. It's za, ji, zu, ze, zo, instead of z. The zi would pronounce z, and it's not right. So it's za, ji, zu, ze, zo. And t, d. So that's d sound. It's da, ji, zu, de, do. The same rule apply. G and z. It was different earlier, so even when it comes to voiced, the same rule apply. It's written differently. And we have b sound. It's ba, bi, bu, be, bo. And we have p sound. It's pa, pi, pu, pe, po. If you know hiragana or katakana, if it's voiced, it's either like 2 dots or little circle, upper right hand side corner of the letter. That's how you change it. but for the Roman letters, we use totally different letters. Of course, it's alphabet. And also, there are small y, y sound with other consonants. What I meant was, for example, kya, kyu, kyo, or mya, myu, myo. And you can combine with all the other letters, and it's on the chart right here. There are quite a lot right here, so I'll just post it on my Twitter. Just please take a look and then practice. Right. And so that was really simple, right? So there are only 5 vowels, and we use them by themselves or with a combination of consonant. And please note that we don't use consonant by itself, which means we just don't use the sound of k, s, t. However, when native speaker speaks, we tend to speak fast, and sometimes, especially at the very end of sentence, we just make it really light. For example, when I say "Ohayou gozaimasu," and it was really fast, but at the end, did you hear it? "Ohayou gozaimasu." It's supposed to be "Ohayou gozaimasu," but it's not necessary to use the whole s sound. So I would say s, des. And in my previous lessons, a lot of people left a comment, was it a s or s? And officially it's s. And I encourage you to practice with s sound first, and when you get used to it, you can make it lighter. And also a couple of other rules. And when we use this symbol, it's a little t sound. That means it's a stop. For example, actually we use the stop word as stop in Japanese for some occasions. So it's written like this: stop. After to, there's a little tsu. That means there is a space right there. It's stop, right? It's a little room in there. And if this is actually if it's Romaji, it's written like this. And it's kind of confusing. It's so different from actual word. But what happens is I doubled P so that it's almost like English. You know, okay, if it's double letters, you have to have the space in between, right? So it goes stop. So if you see consonant doubled, that means there is a space right there. So that's one rule. And there's another one. So this time, if you make the sound long, and actually, like I said, as a rule, you can only elongate the sound of vowels. And the official Romaji, Roman letters, have a little symbol over the vowel letter, so you know that it's actually longer. But I actually don't have it in my computer. Then also, it's not official alphabet letter, so I would like to use double vowels to make it longer. You can't stop vowels anyway. So it goes like this. It's officially, it's only written YU, but people would pronounce it you. But my name is Yu. It's longer. So I usually spell it Y-U-U, so that you know, oh, it's a long vowel. So it's U, so W. I told you I'm gonna be a little bit nerdy. Or in Japanese word, it's called otaku. I think you've heard of it. Otaku is the person who is very much into something and very much into something to the point that other people think that person is weird. They usually talk about like anime fans or game fans, but whatever the subject is, if you are so much into it, people call it otaku. The adjective is otaki. So I was such English otaku. And if you want to study pronunciations really closely, there is a system called International Phonetic Alphabets. It's called IPA. I know it sounds like beer's name, but it's not. It's an International Phonetic Alphabet. What it is it's a universal symbols. Often it looks like alphabets, but some are not. But if you know it, whatever language you would study from now on, all the sounds can be described with the same letters. Actually, it helped me a lot when I studied English, because a lot of the sounds in English don't exist in Japanese. And actually, on the flip side, most of the Japanese sounds exist in English already, so it shouldn't be that difficult. You just need some adjustments and you know the system. But again, for me, when I was speaking, when I studied English, a lot of the sounds were so foreign that I didn't even know how to say it. So with the IPA, you could learn how your mouth and tongue and everything works physically, and also when you see a new word, even if you don't know what it is, you look at the dictionary, then you know there's a little for instance after the word, and it has a little symbols. That's IPA. And when I was studying English, I can just take a look at it, then at least I know how to pronounce it. So if you're very serious about it, I recommend to study International Phonetic Alphabet. Let's do something fun. I want to practice, because sooner or later it can confuse you, especially when you hear a Japanese word which came from English. I remember one time there was a group of my friends. Some are English native speakers, some are Japanese. And of course we're talking in Japanese and English. But when we start talk about music, it was confusing, because you don't translate singers' names or bands' name. Basically, we use the same name, so we think. And one time this lady was talking about Michael Jackson. And of course, she thinks, oh, it's English name, they should know. But she doesn't speak much English, right? So she kept saying, Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson. And English speakers are like, who? And she's like, that's an American singer, super famous. But it's so far away as for the sound goes that people didn't even understand. I'll show you some other examples, like Facebook. It's universal, it's everywhere. We call it Facebook. Facebook. It's kind of close, but it's not. And what happens is that, remember the rule, we don't use consonant by itself, so we have to add vowels. That's the closest that we think should be there. So that's what's happening here. It's Facebook, right? So the face sound or book sound, the s and k at the end, are supposed to be consonant by themselves, but we can't do it, so we added u sound, so it sounds Facebook, right? So while you're watching YouTube, and in Japanese it's called YouTube. YouTube. And remember, I don't have that to sound in Japanese officially, so we use chu instead. It's not to, right? So it's YouTube. And you know what? Right now, just take your time and think about how you are going to say your name in Japanese. For example, if your name is Bob, we say Bob, right? Because you have to add the vowels at the very end. And thank you for staying with me so long today. I know it was a little bit boring. I mean, I am, again, a nerd at heart, so I like this kind of stuff. But if it didn't interest you, if you didn't like it, just let me know here in the comments or the Twitter. I'll figure it out, and I'll make my next lesson more fun. Well, either way, thank you, arigato, for listening to me. My name is Yu Asakura, and I will see you in my next lesson very soon. Right? Bye. Ciao. Mata ne.